a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Christo. It's so hot, guys. It's so hot.
Coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic, and my co-host today. How are you doing?
Hot.
My co-host is burning up back there.
There's no other word to it but hot. But I guess this is our turn. Everybody else had their turn on or last week and the week before, so this is our turn.
So the global warming is finally hitting us, huh?
I think so. I know someone sent me their thermometer in their car yesterday, and they're in the valley. It was 119.
119, man.
119. My girlfriend said they had to send their employees home because they work in a factory manufacturing type of environment, and it was 104 inside of their building.
Wow, that's unbelievable, man.
And they wear protective wear and goggles and all that sort of stuff.
Yes. So they're all cloaked up.
Yeah, they're all cloaked up. So they were trying to get them calm and cool, and they just couldn't regulate the temperature. They're like, okay, we got to send them home. So there you have it. So, but welcome everyone to the Business Zone. Hope you had a fantastic Labor Day weekend, the end of summer, and well, not quite the end of summer, but the end of the feeling of summer. Kids are back to school. Parents are back on the job of getting kids to school every day, and so there you got it. That is where we are today.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
So before we know it, it'll be Christmas.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving first, right?
Yeah, Thanksgiving, and next thing you know, well, the next month we have Halloween. So the time is coming where it felt very free and caring this summer. Even once I got past the kids, August felt really good. But now we're back on the grind.
Right.
Mm-hmm. How did you do anything special for the holidays?
Oh man, I stayed home because it was hot out there, man.
Yeah, it was hot.
I just stay at home, kick it with a few people, and just enjoy myself, man. It was great to just stay home and not go anywhere.
It was great not having to deal with clients for me.
Yeah.
That's what I like about holidays. They're so into themselves that they ain't got time to be worried about us providing anything for them, and I am okay with that. Everyone
they ain't got time for that.
Yeah, they need to have time for family. That is so important. Time for family is so important.
Yeah. I hear that, man. I hear that.
So that was it. I had a lot invoicing. I had to do invoicing over the weekend. I got to finally get able to do that, and some other busy work that I haven't had a chance to because I was so busy. And so let me see. Let's see. Valerie is calling, so I don't know if the link didn't work. So I'm gonna take myself off of voice right now.
Okay. Let's see.
You can talk to the people.
Okay. I can speak to our peeps. All right, folks. So we want to welcome you to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're here every Friday from 3 to 4:30. And today we have a very special guest. She's going to be talking to us about lending for small businesses. So this is a show, small businesses, that you do not want to miss. This is going to be great for you. So I'd like for you guys to start thinking about your business. It's now September. That means we're 3 quarters in the year right now. We only have 3 months left. So I just want you to ask yourself this question, small businesses, small and micro businesses. Have I achieve what I set out to achieve this year in 2024 for my business? Have I achieved what I set out to achieve in this year for my small business with only 3 months to go? I want you to ask yourself that question, because every one of you should have a milestone plan set up. And that in that milestone plan, what you want to do for every quarter is to state what is it you're trying to achieve. Am I trying to achieve government certification? Am I trying to achieve government contracts? Am I trying to increase my customer pool? Am I trying to market the business on another level? What is it am I trying to do here? So you should be asking yourself that question, and then you tune into our show, The Business Zone, every Friday, so that you can ask us questions as to whether or not what you've done over the last 9 months is conducive to helping you grow, whether grow fast, slow, or medium. So those are things that you want to check out, guys. You know, we're here to help you guys. Together we have over 60 years, 60, not 60 years of experience, okay? So I just want to make sure you guys know that.
I started when I was 5. So.
Yeah, Crystal started when she was 5, and I started when I was 7.
There we go. We were prodigies as babies, already into supporting businesses at
That's
such
right.
a young age.
That's right, man. So you guys, you want to be asking yourself, have I done what I need to do to get to where I need to get to this year? With only 3 months to go, there's quite a bit of things going on. You guys also were supposed to be planning and strategizing how you're going to get involved in the FIFA World Cup that's coming up in 2026 and the Olympics that's coming up in 2028. How am I going to get a piece of that pie? How am I going to get some contracts? So those are questions, small businesses, that you should be asking yourselves. And if you don't know the answers to it, then you should be contacting Crystal and I, Coach Crystal and Coach Gilbert. You should be contacting us and say, hey, I want a piece of this Olympics pie. I want a piece of this FIFA World Cup pie. How do I get in there? What do I need to do? Am I ready? Who do I need to talk to? So we can do an assessment on you, make sure that you're actually ready, and start providing you with some resources, guys. So these are things that you should be thinking right now. I know you guys are there sitting. Some of you are driving in your car, and you're here listening to what we're saying, and you're going, you know what? I think this dude probably has a point, but I'm too busy. I'm doing these other things. Are you too busy to make money? Ask yourself that question, because that's why we're here. We're here to help you guys access those opportunities that you haven't been accessing over the last few years of your business. Okay? So my co-host Crystal, she's here. She provides bookkeeping, accounting services, coaching, other business developmental services to get your business on track. And I provide services in your back office, the infrastructure, your capability statement, getting you ready for government contracts, getting you ready for certifications. Whatever certification you need, we assist you with that. Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, you want to write an exit strategy? We can help you with that too. So all of those things. And some of you might be saying, well, I'm a nonprofit. How does that apply to me? We help nonprofits as well. As a matter of fact, one of our friend and associates will be coming on this show real soon, Amber Wynn, to talk about nonprofit sponsorship and receiving grants and awards. So you guys need to be ready.
All righty, you're absolutely ready and right. And so today we have an amazing guest. She's going to be talking on business loan readiness. And so again, I always say though, if you are ready for business loan readiness and contract readiness, I'm going to make an assumption that you actually are operating a business in a readiness mode. But if not, before you can get to any of those, either of those two, you really truly need to be business ready. So that's important to do that. And this is the year for that because there's so many new, as Gilbert just indicated, so many great opportunities that are being presented to us if you live in the city of Southern California. So you want to be ready for that. So, and it's better to do that now. Now the times we're in 2024, 2025 will be here next year. With God's graces, we'll have a new president that's a female. And then there may be a whole lot of other opportunities that will be available to you. But before you can even think about that, you definitely have to ready your business so it is actually standing at attention, waiting for any opportunity that's about to present itself, not getting ready, but already ready.
Be ready.
Already be ready. So we're going to jump in today, if it's okay with Gilbert. Our guest is here.
Oh, she is here.
She's here. We just got to do a minor adjustment to her background when she comes on air. But I'm excited to talk about that because, again, when we're looking to do procurement opportunities, contracting opportunities, things like that, sometimes we need capital in order to just move that needle to the next level, right? Yeah. We may be fine operating as we are, but maybe we need to hire some employees. Maybe we need new equipment at this time. Maybe we need to upgrade our marketing and our branding efforts, and you need money to do that. You're running and operating, breaking even, but you're not making enough profit. And so, in order to do that, you really do have to have the capital to make that happen. And that, for me, when I'm talking to my clients, I'm recommending that that's the reason. And there may be other reasons why you may need capital, but you need to have a very definitive reason for that. And for me, if it's a revenue generating reason, then that makes all the sense in the world. Long as you can make sure that you are going to generate revenue, that capital is going to help take you to that next level, help your business to grow, help your business to scale up. And so that's usually my recommendation to my clients. Gilbert, I don't know about you, but I don't think folks should take on debt just to be taking on it. They have to have a mission and a purpose. And I'm sure our guest Valerie will also give us her opinion on that as well, being purpose-driven when you're looking for capital.
As a matter of fact, I strongly encourage small and micro businesses to seek out lines of credit. You want to get lines of credit first. Seek out that option first. Then if you cannot get it, then you can go for a loan, but a line of credit will be more conducive to what you do and to your budget, to your operations and your plan. Because if you get a loan, guys, interest rate, we don't know where it's going to be, but it could be 8%. It could be more than that, depending on your financial credibility. So with that kind of interest rate, depending on how much you borrow, but your payment each month could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500, depending on what you borrow, the amount that you borrow. So you can't afford to have that kind of money going out of your business every month. And that's why I say try to get a line of credit first, because on a line of credit, you only pay for what you use. So if you have a $50,000 line of credit, but you only use $10,000 of it, then you're only going to be assessed on the $10,000 that you use. So you're paying back on $10,000, not the $50,000 that you originally got, but $10,000. So keep that in mind, small businesses. The only time you need to talk about loans is whether or not you're going to buy a building, you need real estate, those types of things. But if you're just getting a business loan just to get a business loan so you can get by, get a line of credit. So our guest today is going to speak very diligently about that and other things having to do with your small business. So my co-host will do us the honors today So, co-host, are you ready
Yeah,
with
I'm going
our
to bring
guest?
her in. I'm excited, and she was excited yesterday. Hello, Valerie. How are you?
Hello,
Let's
Crystal
switch
and
you
Gilbert.
around, and let's
Hello,
switch
Definitely.
us to the other
hello,
side.
Miss
There we go.
Valerie.
We want you to be in the limelight there.
There you
Okay,
Welcome,
go.
perfect.
welcome. So now, Valerie, go right down to the bottom of this
Okay,
screen and see
all
that
right.
little setting, or you can press S, and the settings will
I see
set up.
setting. All right.
hmm Then, if you look at the video, click the
Mm-hmm.
video on the left hand side,
Okay.
and then down at the bottom it shows mirror camera. Slide that button
Yes.
to the. There you
Oh, magical.
go.
See, we learn a little something every
Fantastic.
day, huh?
I just learned something like this is this is amazing. And by the way, Crystal and Gilbert, your energy is just contagious.
Thank
Oh,
you.
It's Friday. It's Friday. We're the office. We have two offices, and I have a couple employees. And it's a Friday, and you wind down a little bit. And I was listening to you. I'm like, you know what? You have to match that energy. Are you kidding?
We're like the Energizer bunnies over here, man. We always
Absolutely.
energize when we're
This,
talking
this
to
is
small
this is
businesses.
amazing. And also, this makes it even better is that you're so on point with your
Yeah.
comments about lending, right? Like
Yes.
overall. Of course, we're gonna dive in and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that the audience may have or you two may have.
Yeah.
But your introduction into business lending, it's right on. I'm like, I don't even know. Do you guys, are you sure you need me?
yeah, 'cause you're the expert. We
Yes,
just on the
you're the
sideline.
expert, so we need
You're
you.
the expert. But before we get into the diving, tell us a little bit about you. I actually hear an accent, so I'm assuming
Oh,
there's
No,
a
don't tell us.
Frenchman
Don't
there
tell us yet.
somewhere.
Don't tell us yet. We're gonna guess first.
that's my
Don't tell us.
brand.
Don't tell us. Don't tell us. Ah, we're gonna guess.
Okay,
Okay,
yes,
go
give
ahead.
it.
I'm gonna guess that it's a Haitian language accent, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Crystal, your turn.
Uh, Senegalese.
No, but you're getting closer. You're actually on the right continent.
I
I'm
know
on
it
the
has a
right
French. I
continent.
know it has a French flavor to it. So
Now
Yes,
tell us about
definitely.
Valerie and where you're
Crystal,
from.
Crystal is actually both of you are the closest because I was born and raised in France. On my dad's side, is French from Lyon, southeast of France.
Oh,
It's by the Alps, not
okay.
too far from the Alps. And my mom's family comes from Cameroon.
oh, see,
So
that was gonna be
Senegal,
my second guess.
yes, Senegal, it's not too far. So, but
Okay.
we call it Haiti. Haiti speaks French.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay. All right.
so
I was
yeah,
So it's
looking
you
at your
interesting.
last name. I was looking at your last name and said Dufy, right? Dufy, is that how you pronounce?
Dufix. Attention,
Do
Monsieur
speak.
Gilbert. Dufix.
I love the way she says my name, Gilbert.
Actually,
So
I said it in the English way, but in French, it's Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Gilbert. Yeah.
Gilbert.
Gilbert is actually
You
from
can call me
Jamaica.
that forever. Crystal, Crystal, you're gonna have to start calling me Gilbert, okay?
Gilbert is from Jamaica, and I have ancestry. My DNA ancestry goes back to Cameroon on my
Oh
mom,
my
on my
gosh.
mother's.
See, I knew there was something between our Crystal. It's
Ah,
just that we hit it up right away, so it was no coincidence there.
right, exactly. So tell us who you are. Obviously, you immigrated here, so tell us about all of that part, and then let's get to
Sure.
talking about money.
Absolutely. So my background is international banking and finance. I graduated from the University of Lyon and I went to Paris to work at BNP Paribas, which is one of the biggest banks in Europe and some other parts of the world.
hmm
And it's during that time that I would say, quite lucky to have a supervisor that truly cared about our career path. He
Mhm.
wanted to know what is that that excites you at work? What is it that you want to do? As you must know, in banking, there's so many departments. There are the private banking, the private investment, the loan underwriter, the retail, the branch manager. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of different career paths. And when he asked me that question, I was so excited because I've always loved traveling. So I did tell him that I would love to go. So first of my list was New York.
No,
Then
finance capital.
I know, right? Newly graduated in the international banking finance, for me it was a no-brainer. Then the second one was Toronto, also
Mm,
kind of a mecca, for finance, and
Mhm.
Australia. Australia because it was, again, I wanted to go, far. I just graduated, and for me, it was a way to kind of travel the world while working.
mm,
And I had like a 3 years visa, working visa,
Mhm.
and he luckily had a contact at Wells Fargo Bank in
Yeah.
Brentwood.
oh,
So that's how I ended up in Wells Fargo in Los Angeles, Brentwood, with a 3 year working visa.
oh,
Mm.
okay.
End of 2007.
Mm, mm, mm.
If it was fate, because can you imagine if it was in 2008? I would have never been hired. They would,
No, you
well,
might not have been. You,
exactly. Wells would have said no, but no. We're going through like one of the biggest American crises we've ever seen. So we're not trying to hire people right now. So it was end of 2007. It was just timely, and I guess it was meant to be. I spent 8.5 years at Wells Fargo at
Mhm.
the retail level. I was a business banker. Then I became a BDO, which is a business development officer, and I worked as a loan officer too for 8.5 years, and covered mainly the West Side, Brentwood, Culver City, Marina Del Rey, Beverly Hills. So that's where, most of my clients were. And it was just so tremendous. What a great institution as far as training, right? I know what happened in 2016, it's kind of corporate greed, right? Like reflective of what a lot of companies uh, do. But just taking that out, and I know it's huge, right? Like we're not obviously dismissing that part.
Mhm.
Walls itself was, I mean, at least when I was back there, such a great institution. Like they will give you anything you need to be successful. Really, the readiness of whether the consultants, the program, the online webinars, and so forth, they were really catering to people that were willing to learn, and it put an extra effort to achieve their goals. So that I'll always be grateful, because as you can imagine, between Europe and America, banking is different, right? Like we
yeah.
don't do the same thing in France. And I had to learn from scratch how banking works here, although I was already in an international bank in Paris, but
Right.
still, not quite the same. So I got my badges of honor in banking and finance from Wells Fargo, which again was back in the days. I don't know what's the case right now. Such a great institution in teaching you and training you and making sure that you have all the tools you need to be successful.
It's
I think
good.
that's absolutely correct. If you think about it, back then, I have a number of nonprofits, and this is one is a marketing business for make it's called Recycling Black Dollars, and Fargo was probably one of all of our biggest sponsors, working with programs to help small businesses be able to qualify for loans. And they sponsored a lot of technical training classes and workshops and stuff for the nonprofit. So yeah, they've hit some skids lately, but in the past, yeah, in the past, yeah, they were excellent. Sponsors and providing PA or technical assistant programs for a lot of the nonprofits that service the small business community. How about you, Gilbert? Saying?
Yeah, same, pretty much the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we complement each other a lot on the things that we've done, the things we're exposed to. So that is just, it's like getting the getting two for one, right?
Right, exactly. So, so then, from there, how is it Diamant Carré? Did I?
Oui, oui, madame.
Yeah, we. Look at that,
Madame,
learning French.
madame.
Madame, Madame Cristal. Uh, Diamant Carré Capital Group. Diamant Carré because the purest cut of diamonds is square,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
it's an analogy to a streamline process where we don't cut corners. We have the most transparent and streamlined process for our clients and our loans. So it's reflective of our work ethic, basically. So
Mm,
diamant means diamond in French, and carré, it's square. So that precious cut from the diamond, the purest cut from the diamond, it's what we want to bring, you know, every day, every time that we work, interact with our clients.
Hmm.
awesome, awesome.
Mm.
Now, for so did you get to Toronto? Did you ever? Did you? I know you lost
No,
the.
I unfortunately. Oh, you had a question before. So back in 2016, when everything, we know what happened in Wells Fargo. That's how I left. So I left Wells Fargo, end of 2016. Really started. It was before Diamant Carré was my last name, Dufix Business Capital. Then became Diamant Carré in 2017. So it's been what 7, 8 years now that
Mm,
I've been, total. I would say a total of 16 years that I've been in the industry, helping small and mid-sized clients accessing uh, capital lending needs.
okay. What are some of the challenges that you, from a banker side, because we know the challenges from our side and what we're preparing our business owners to become a bank readiness for capital readiness. What are some of the challenges that you see from your side?
Oh, what a great question! And before we dive in, and if I may,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to clarify something about my company. I'm a small boutique brokerage firm. We have an office in Beverly Hills and Irvine, so we cover all SoCal. The reason why I want to clarify the type of business we are, it's because a lot of people have heard about loan brokerage, right? Loan broker,
Mm-hmm.
and there are two types of loan brokers. The
Hmm.
first type that most people know, they're going after a lot of alternative lending, meaning those loans will be fast. They can pay you more as a
Hmm.
broker, that's not a problem, but it's not sustainable for the client
Mm-hmm.
because the payments will be daily, they can be weekly, and they're extremely expensive. And I got to
Mm-hmm.
tell you, I was shocked. I mean, one time a client was quoted 95% on a shark loan. Yes,
Oh
Wow.
my God.
95%. So, not to say, again, I believe we're all part of the solution. uh, I just want to make sure that when people sign up for those type of products, that they are aware, right? Like usually I say no more than 3 to 6 months. It's a very short term type of loans because if you need it, and sometimes you do, right? You have a big order coming in, you're going to make 3 times as much money, but you need the capital to process that order. So go ahead, like if it makes sense, if you can qualify otherwise, you can go ahead and do that. But please, 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 for the sake of your company sustainability, do not stay more than 3 to 6 months because it's the door open to bankruptcy. You absolutely will not survive staying on a short loan or MCA loans or those short-term loans for a while. So that's the part that most people are, loan brokers are aware. Then we are part of the smaller percentage where we deal almost exclusively with banks. So we
Hmm.
have 120 banks partner that we work with, and in those, actually, banks are not created equal. They
Hmm.
are the big banks, right? They have
Mm-hmm.
paper. They like the squeaky clean. We call that vanilla deals, like, all these things. And you have the community banks, the regional banks, the one branch banks, the family owned banks, the charter banks, the credit unions. They are actually very aggressive banks that people don't know about, because the scenario is usually people will go to their banks. Let's just say I'm just thinking about one bank, US Bank. Hey, I bank at US Bank. I'm looking for a loan. I got declined, and that's it for me. That is
Hmm.
not it.
Yeah.
That is not it, because there may be another bank, smaller bank, who only has like a dozen branch that would love to have your portfolio. The first reason why I got into sustainable lending, meaning that 95% of our loans are through all these banks, it's because for me, before and foremost, it's the sustainability of my clients. I want my
Mm.
clients to be around forever. Then it can come back
Right.
to me forever.
That's true.
Not go out of business because they got a 95% interest rate
I
on
know.
their
They're
loan.
not gonna come back. The next month they're gonna close their doors. So absolutely. So sustainability and having those solid pillars as far as being a business that's growing in a very let's say clean way, in a very sustainable way, in a very organic way, that's the goal here. We had so many clients coming from other banks a year or two later and say, "Oh, I thought when I was declined by Bank of America, my bank, or Wells Fargo, I thought that was it. They didn't bother because, of course, they're busy, right? Like, who has time to call other banks? Like, as a business owner, you don't." And that's the reason why. We're quite different from what people are used to as far as loan brokers. We're really
Mhm.
after, and my whole team, we're all ex-corporate bankers, so we work very well with those banks. So that was one point I wanted to clarify, before we move on, so they can see the difference between the way we work and the way most loan brokers work.
And that is so accurate because that is exactly what happens. A person goes in to a bank, generally the bank that they're banking at, right? And I always tell my clients, if you have to do your interviewing for the bank that is going to best suit your business, right? Because generally that first loan may come from that bank. So if
Absolutely.
they get denied from the bank that they're actually making deposits and doing business with, that's it. It is across the board. Everyone's gonna deny me. Why should I even go out there and look for a loan?
That is so amazing. Exactly what's happening. And here's a quick example. We just got a 3.5 million approved with a business owner. I'm not going to say it's bank. A business owner, unfortunately, he had losses in 2022 and
Mhm.
2023.
Mhm.
In most bank, that will be a direct decline. It's like, nope, come back next year or the year, 2 years from now, because 2 years back to back losses for business, usually it's not a good candidate for a bank. But guess what?
Right.
We were able to get him a term sheet. Actually, we're about to close 10 days from now. A term sheet from a one branch bank located
Wow.
in Orange County, where they were quite, they knew, they listened. I think the story behind what happened was so important to them. And of course, there were other assets. The real estate also was a great, asset for the bank. But
Right.
even that, with 2 years losses back to back, most banks would say no. So they were able to get a term sheet at 9.25, which is
Oh wow.
unbelievable for this type of scenario, because we were about to go 13, 14% in alternative lending and saying, let's get a bridge loan,
Okay.
get them ready for the next year or the year after, but we can go to the bank. But no, we were able to finance them through a bank, a small bank.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, a one branch bank. We
Mm.
have 17 bankers, from the CEO to the teller. That is
Mhm.
it.
Oh,
That's it. 17 bankers, one branch, and they were able to finance our client, who was
That's
obviously
good.
declined by his big bank.
that is absolute. Because I have a client right now. We're having that conversation. She has a product that she sells commercial. She has a number it's in a number of supermarkets, and then she has a retail client, but her product is seasonal. We're now working on so that she's driving revenue throughout the year. But at the end of the last 4 months of the year, because it's kind of it's a sweet potato pie, it does extremely well. On top of the fact that she's in four different big box supermarkets, right?
Nice. Yeah.
And actually she's in six of them. And so, but now we're working. So we've been working on her finances and getting there. She's like, oh my God. And she wants to now manufacture the pie. So it's now already pre-made and you just put it in the oven and so forth. So she's going to need capital to really go that distance, right? And
Definitely.
so we've been trying to get her finances, and so when we look at it, when she looks at it, she goes, oh my God, I'll never be able to get along with this. And but she's been assisted with the PPP monies, and she has grown drastically in that time frame. But cost of foods have gone. Her ingredients have gone up. So I told her, I said, no, don't be discouraged. There must be somebody out there based upon your story. So it sounds like you guys kind of look at where they are, where they potentially are going to go with the use of the resources or the capital that they're going to acquire from you. Is that kind of some of the part of the picture?
Sure. We're looking, of course, we don't make upfront promises. We will never tell a client the moment they sit down, hey,
Right,
we're going to get you a loan for sure. No, it's like going to the doctor. Hey, doctor, I
right,
have a headache. Let's operate.
right.
There's no diagnosis. Like you have to look at everything. And then that approach that we have at looking at the story, what's going on. And a very important component is that what type of loan is suitable,
Hmm.
for you at this moment. A
Ah,
lot of people would come with preconceived ideas and saying, people say SBA loan is the best product for me, or like, this is whatever it is that they heard. And sometimes it's the cousin baker who doesn't know anything about lending was gonna give you was giving them that this
Gil,
advice.
Gil,
So
Gilbert calls that the street corner consultant.
exactly. And we're like, but we welcome that. Of course, we're not expecting all of our clients to be expert, even the ones that are seasoned, that have been in business for 30 years. Products change. There's a lot of adjustment in lending, so you
Right,
always have to renew your knowledge and then see what's the latest update, basically. We don't, first of all, we don't make any upfront promises. We absolutely look at facts, right? Things the way they
right.
are. And then because of our background in banking, we know how banks, what an underwriter would like to see, what they want to
Mm,
see in a write-up. Like, all these things. There's some parts that are obvious, and there's also parts that are subtle, like subtleties that it's kind of, how do you tell the story in a way that the underwriter say, you know what? I know the numbers are not there yet, but this makes total sense. And I think this can
mm.
work. So there's so much. I mean, any banker would tell you that. Sometimes clients are the worst enemy. Everything goes well. They provided all the documents that we need, but they jump on a conference call with a loan underwriter. Now they're
Yes.
telling the story. They're telling more than they've been asked. I'm like, shush, answer the question. I always say to people that you haven't been through immigration, but maybe Gilbert has been. But I always say, like in an interview at immigration, they ask you, "Do you have kids?" You say yes. You don't say, "Oh, I have kids." There are three of them. One goes here. Like, no, 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 no. You have kids? Yes. It's a yes or no question. You do not elaborate and volunteer information, because the more you
Uh,
talk, the more question the underwriter is going to have. And in most cases, it's not good, because the more they dive in, the more they uncover things that are hurting the case rather than helping.
It's like
uh,
being investigated by the police. They're being interviewed by the police. They. That's why your attorney always tell you, anything you say,
yeah,
it
just
It
may
is,
answer
lead
it
yes
is, oh
or
my
no.
God, it is so true. That is, I didn't never, okay. Granted, I've never been interviewed, like, interrogated by the police, so hopefully it will never happen. Oh, it will happen if, like, did you lose your Ferrari in the? So that would be that would be
Okay.
the
Right,
only time
exactly.
I would love to
Only
be
a positive
interviewed.
experience,
Yes,
right?
for things like that. But it is so true. Underwriters are investigators.
Yep.
Yeah.
They are risk managers. They mitigate risk for the bank. At the same time,
Hmm.
they want to lend, right? Like that's what banks do. They get a lot of their money from interest rate and stuff like that. But they have to mitigate and keep that very um let's just say fragile
Hmm.
balance. And
Mm.
the more you give them to question the
The more
reason.
they're gonna dig deeper.
Exactly. So I always
Mm.
tell them I had the experience with immigration. Of course, that's my point of reference. In immigration, same thing. They ask you one question, you stick to the answer. That's it. You don't elaborate. You don't volunteer information. So all that part, like education, and then telling them kind of what to expect. You know, all these things are part of the whole process, and then that's the start, right? Like obviously we're looking at the numbers. Your financials are important, your tax returns, your year-to-date P&L and balance sheet, your personal financial statement. Most bank would like
Hmm.
to see that. The debt schedule, do you have other debts right now? And
Hmm.
everything that pertains to a credit. Are you in good
Mm.
standing? What is your credit right now? Usually, banks would like to see a minimum of 680. That's a good start. Obviously, the higher, the better. Um, all that counts. And they are very specific. And in this question, there are actually two answers, right? If you're going the bank route, you're going to need all that bank statement.
Hmm.
You're going to need tax returns. You're going to need P&L and L and balance sheet. But if we're going alternative, as we mentioned earlier, there are shorter routes, right? But you have to know it can be costly at the end. As long as you're educated
Yeah.
and you know what you're getting into, then there's no problem.
Mm.
The problem that we see sometimes is that the client was signed up for a product that he had no idea how that product worked. And he find himself in deep trouble because here we are, he has to pay daily or weekly. So there are two answers to the question, depending again, it comes down to what is the best product at this moment for you? What is the best loan for you at this moment? And are you in a hurry? Do you need the money in a week? Can you wait 30 days? There's so many questions. There are like dozens and dozens of questions that it's like an assessment at first, right? We have this assessment, uh, uh, we call that
Mm.
pre-flight in our
Mm.
jargon, right? Like we pre-flight the deal, preliminary review, where we ask all these questions, exactly like you will go to the doctor, in order to find out the right diagnosis for you. Hey, besides the headache, how are you feeling? Some doctor even go. There's functional medicine, which I love, where they just don't get stuck to the physical, symptoms. They also talk about what's going on in your relationships and your life in general. So we don't go that far. We don't want to know.
But you
but
do want
but
to know enough about their character to
exactly.
know that they can
We
repay the
like
loan,
we like
right?
the facts. It's like we go as far as the lending. Let's just say the lending arena allow us to go to make an accurate diagnosis. So
Right.
we can
So
know.
so are you
Hey,
operating with the five C's?
oh, absolutely. That's if you're going with the traditional route.
Okay.
The I mean, again, the traditional route, absolutely. You need the five C's, and credit, condition, collateral, character, very important. Absolutely important. You want to be in good standing. You want to have a business that's been not sued like a dozen times. You
Mhm.
want to have a good reputation and all these things. On the alternative world, yes, credit may be important, but they may look at, because there are all kinds of products, accounts receivable financing. All they
Mm.
care about is who are your vendors, who are these people that you're getting the orders from. If it's a Walmart, Amazon, Target, or like some big companies, they have nothing to worry about. They know they're going to have their money back. So at that point, they don't really, I mean, the collateral is the most important because they're going to care about who is the person who is ordering, or who is the company who's ordering, because we want a reputable company that we know it's going to pay our client.
Okay. Okay. So, what type of businesses do you have a specific target type of client that you service, or industries that you service that you're when you're looking helping individuals acquire capital?
Sure. All Most of our clients are manufacturers, wholesalers, and distributors.
Okay.
That's 65% of our clients. And the rest can be, again, I'm never gonna tell no to a client. I always, first of all, I'll take the phone call. It may be an opportunity to educate them to other ways, of getting what they're looking for. And if possible, I refer them to somebody who is actually the best person to help them in their scenario. So,
Okay.
with that said, yes, most of our clients are closely held families. They make anywhere from 5 to 100 million as annual revenue. And most of the loans are anywhere from a business line of credit, a term loan, SBA, which is big, working capital. They have
Mhm.
from SBA Express, a maximum 500 to like 5 million.
Mm.
Their accounts receivables, a lot, manufacturers, wholesaler distributors, they have those accounts receivables. So we leverage that to get them
Mhm.
capital, their inventory financing you know
Oh.
so
Okay.
if you have inventory and you want to leverage that, absolutely. Obviously, there are cash out refi on your owner occupied property, even on your investment properties. Like I said, there's dozen products out there, and in order to pinpoint exactly the one product that fit your need right at this very moment, that's why we have those that assessment session. We ask all these questions, and then we come back and say, hey, these are one or two products that you may want to look at, and this is ballpark how it works, and we do the whole work, obviously. So very important to, because and I've seen that, right? Like people coming in and having a certain idea and thinking they qualify for a certain product. They may not only they may not qualify, and then they get just frustrated. And the second thing is, like, it may have not been the right product in the first place, right?
Ah.
You got into something that wasn't suitable for what you needed at that time. I always compare a business cycle like a business like life cycle. It's the same thing.
Mhm.
As a startup, you're like a toddler. You're barely,
Yeah.
walking. You're gonna need something different from a senior or an adult, like when you're 25 years in your business. So it's very important that somebody doesn't, try to sell you a 5 million loan, a business loan, when you don't even make anywhere near. Like, there's so
Right.
many things that you have to take into consideration. It makes sense, but you have to take the time to have that assessment with the client, and then ask all these questions pertaining to get them the best product for their circumstances, the current circumstances at the business.
You guys are like a connoisseur, a concierge of lending, right? You
Yes,
actually get
we,
to know, because banks don't do that, right? You
you
do
know,
the
I
application and that's it. They don't know nothing other than the fact that you got the money. Do you have not have the money to pay us? But you guys take in, that's kind of like old fashioned
pretty much,
lending.
yeah. Again, because my other, like, I have a few employees. We're all ex-bankers. All of us come from a banking background. Here's the thing: we are obviously smaller than a regular bank, and
Okay.
also we we really want to be around for a long time, right? And then if you treat your clients right, they know you give them the right advice, you give them the best product out there, our retention keeps growing. So it tells us what we're doing. Obviously, we're not perfect, we're still improving, right? Obviously.
Right.
But really, one of our pillar, again, talking about sustainability, it's making sure that we do the best that we can to help them, with the landing point. And by the way, Crystal, I got to
Hmm.
tell you, we had scenarios where lending, yes, they came in because they wanted to have a loan, because they know us, hey, that's what we do. But
Mm-hmm.
we refer them to somebody like you to clean up their books, because
Ah,
it was not even close to what they were asking. We knew they can get it, but like with what they presented us, it didn't make sense. We had like one scenario, a client in Paramount. It's I think it's close to Gaudi now, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. So he came in solid, closely held, a wholesaler, been around for 60 years.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the last, since COVID, the owner had some health issues, and
Mm-hmm.
they had to kind of scale back. And then unfortunately, the books were not as good, right? Like there was
Right.
no real supervision, and so forth. So when he came back almost 2 to 3 years after, it was quite serious health issues. He's like, hey Valerie, here's my tax returns. I need a loan. He needed a 1.5 million. And we're looking at the
Mm.
books, we look at each other, it's like, okay, we need to have an accountant and a CPA and a controller here to salvage these books, because you are not getting 1.5 million with this, with this, reports. So we got, obviously we refer them out to one of our, we have a lot, and of course now, that I know you, you'll be one of our partners, where again, the fact that our focus is sustainability. If they don't qualify for the they're looking for, we don't mind at all having that delay and refer
Mm.
them, have them fix the problem they have so they can come back stronger, so we can
Okay.
do what we do best. So we partner with, from bookkeepers to CPAs, commercial insurance. Have you seen the
Ah,
premiums lately? A lot of clients are paying like 40% more, 50%
yeah.
more,
Insurance has gotten
100% more for
outrageous,
commercial insurance.
from my
It is
understanding.
insane. And then when we see an opportunity where maybe the agent may not be as diligent, we're like, hey, let have so and so take a look at it, maybe they can. So we're all about sustainability, whatever helps. Insurance, bookkeeping, accounting, lawyers, they
Oh,
sometimes
wow.
come, hey, I need to buy out my partner, and before you do that, because you're going to need a new LLC, let me refer you to a corporate lawyer and a business lawyer. So we're all about what makes sense for them to be around for a long time. It
Oh,
may not be
awesome.
lending right now at this moment. It may be they need that lawyer first before coming back
Uh-huh.
to us. So be it. We'll be able to
You
refer them.
debate it, and so the
Yeah,
doors won't be closed, and that's excellent because that's that whole holistic approach. Like Gilbert and I, like that's what I do. A number of the nonprofits organizations. I'm a business advisor and a coach for them because I'm helping to make sure that their books are all set up and their financial structure is set up before
absolutely.
they, and then they're receiving TA assistance from marketers and so forth. So the business is business ready, right?
Mhm.
Um, I work with Vermont Slauson Economic Development, they're CDFI, and that's primarily what I do for them is making sure that the businesses can qualify when that time comes. But as well as that, Gilbert and I both. Now, Gilbert works with the with individuals that are seeking minority contracts.
Mhm.
So a lot of his clients, they need that bridge, right? They get a contract, they're awarded the contract, then they need to be able to, maybe bring on more employees or make sure they have that gap for
Yeah,
payroll while they're waiting for payment. But that most of all of his clients are that mindset kind of on the front end of getting to that place, getting contract ready.
absolutely. No, and then the bridge loans are amazing. They're great, because again, it's surgical for this purpose.
Right.
I'm gonna be paid 2 to 3 times, but I need, in order to get to point B, I need to start point A, and then this is gonna allow me to get there. And that's very intentional, and it's great. Again, you want to make sure you have a good bridge loan, not something that's gonna sink you.
Right. So you guys are, you're up front to let them know. Now, Gilbert actually has a
I love
product.
it.
Since that's what he wants to be called now.
Be careful, Crystal. You may speak French at the end of this
I know.
conversation.
Actually,
You did.
all through middle school and high school, early part of college, I actually did speak French. When I lived on the East Coast, I lived in Buffalo, and Toronto, Quebec, and
Oh, yes,
Montreal was right there
of
across the
course.
border, so
Yeah.
it made sense at that time. But
Mhm.
Gilbert, he actually has a product called SmallBizPro that you and he can talk about, because what it does is it does assessment. They go and he can tell you, because he's been doing this product for a long time. But go ahead and tell it, Gilbert.
It assesses their current status, their current situation, to let us know, or the bank or the financial agent know where they are and how ready they are. So there are certain documents that a lender will want, their P&L, their balance sheet, 3 years tax return,
Yeah.
any other document, maybe they may want to look at their bank statements, certain things. So when they're answering those questions, those are the kind of questions that are on the assessment. So if they're answering no to some of these, then they have to score 100% in order to be ready. So anything less than 100, you're not ready. And it could be that there are only 3 questions that they answered no to, which tells you that that's an easy and a quick fix, because
Mhm.
maybe the question is, have you generated your P&L in the last 3 years? No, but maybe they didn't know they're supposed to do that. So then they can go and hire a bookkeeper, an accountant, and get that generated. So that might be something, an easy fix. The problem is that after they get that fixed, they might find some monsters on those sheets.
Yeah.
You may see some numbers in parentheses, and you go, "Wait a second, where did this money go?"
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's what the tool does, and it allows a business coach or a consultant to really go through, and that's it right there. That's a tool
Okay.
right.
Great.
So it allows the agent to go through and see. If you scroll down some more to the middle of the page, there's other 4 tiles, and the third one says bank loan readiness. So if
That's
you
great.
yeah, if
I
you
love
click
that.
you click on that, then it shows you like an 8 cell table, and
Mhm.
which it asks, see right there. So you fill that out. That's just personal information, like
Mhm.
your name, your business name, your phone number, email, legal structure, all of that, what industry you're in. And once that's filled out, then it takes you to the real meat and potato, the questions, on the questionnaire. So so that's what we've been using to assess them, and this is good. This is a good solid tool, because you'd be surprised how many businesses you mentioned earlier. You mentioned earlier there could be some businesses that's been in operation for 15, 20 years. Usually those are the ones we come across that's problematic, because since they've been doing this for so long, it's automatic to them, so they don't really realize that, hey, you need to look at your P&L and your balance sheet at least monthly, so you know what's going on. There's no surprises, right?
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, you'll be surprised. It fascinates me how, and then we were talking about the ERP being in the manufacturing industry,
Mhm.
to control your supply chain and inventory. How people, and this is just fascinating to me, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. They've been successful for that long, 15, 20 years.
Oh
And you look
yes,
at
oh
their
yes.
systems and what they have in place, you're like, how in the world can you function?
Yeah.
And you're
It's-
like, this is this is a miracle. Like, how have you been sustainable for the past 15, 20 years? And you show them obviously a better way. But no, I totally agree. You
it,
get in, and then sometimes it's quite surprising.
it's like a drunk driving a car, right?
Ex-
And they get in an accident, the other person get injured, but they don't. It's like, how
exactly.
did
You're
they
like,
do that?
how did this happen? Yeah.
And mainly it's because that they have been working at this, they're working in their business, right? They're
Mhm.
not, and so they're making that part happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then they're not paying attention to the working on the business, right? They're
Right.
in the business and not on the business. So, things fall to the wayside. I mean,
Mhm.
family owned businesses or legacy businesses are
Yeah.
notorious for not
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
financials.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Because
Notorious for not having them. And it's like,
because
well, how
because
do you do your taxes? Oh, we just call at the end of the year. We just tell the tax man how much money we made and money on. We have a ledger. We have an Excel spreadsheet, and we
yeah.
just send that to them, and they make that happen. So
Yeah.
I don't know why I need. Why do I need a P&L? What?
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it is fascinating. And this is just so amazing to me because what is it? Like 30 million businesses in America, right? Like
Hmm.
ballpark. And
Yeah.
and I would say 90% of them are small and mid-sized businesses. They're
Yeah.
closely held family businesses. The father started it maybe 70 years ago, the kids taking over, or like somebody started it 40 years ago. I mean, these are businesses that started maybe with a 10,000 from the family, 20,000, and then they grew into multi million. But they still have that mentality, which is great actually. That's why, it's just where you work hard. Systems, yeah, if you need it, but like you work hard first, and you want to make it happen. But yeah, there's better ways, obviously, to do business without even like wasting your time or hindering into like the system that's also already established. It's just doing things better. That's basically what it is.
You know what's amazing about that, Valerie? You mentioned 30 million small businesses in the US. California is a microcosm of the US. So the US has 30 million small businesses and California has 10% of that, which is you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. California, I mean, I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, we became in California the
Yeah.
fourth, is it fourth strongest economy in the
Fifth,
world?
the fifth largest.
Fifth
Fifth or
largest.
fifth.
Yeah.
It would be like
Hmm.
Germany if we were a country.
Yeah,
Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
there's so much business happening. I am so not surprised. And
Yeah,
I definitely love being California. I mean, that's this the dynamism, right? Like or
yeah,
entrepreneurship. And I just it's great. I love it.
yeah. A lot of people hate us, though. Like people in Texas.
Oh,
People in Texas
that's
and the
another
South, they
story.
don't like us at all. They go,
I
too
don't know
many
if you,
rules, too many
I
compliance rules.
that's the thing though. The news, I mean, the people that I know in Texas, when you talk about human to human, you talk about people to people. We're talking politics, who cares, right?
Yeah.
When you talk
Hmm.
about a decent person,
Yeah.
absolutely genuine and great, like just
Oh
like you
yeah.
meet anywhere. Like it's usually the news that would tell us this, or like the politics and trying to put some discord. But people are people. Nice people are nice people. Mean people will be mean people. They can have a 30 million mansion in Malibu. If they're nice, they're nice. If they're not, they're not nice.
Yeah,
That's
Right.
what it
Exactly.
is.
the thing that they don't like about us is that we have too many regulations, too much compliance requirements. So that's why they don't like us because we operate. Another thing that is so uh, prominent about California is a lot of times the rules in California supersede the federal rules because
Really?
we're so stringent here.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Oh
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Any state
And
supersedes
it
yeah,
any
they
federal?
supersedes
supersede.
federal, yeah,
Yeah,
especially
like
Really?
the
labor compliance.
labor compliance
Oh,
Yeah,
supersedes
wow.
anything that the federal government does. But we're
yeah,
also at the same time the trendsetters, right?
yeah,
So when certain things like the gig industry that took off really in the state of California, it's a testing ground, right?
yeah,
And
Hmm.
so then they see that as working, and then now you see it in other states across, and then it becomes international.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Hmm.
we're actually the breeding ground for trying out new
yeah,
businesses and creating new businesses, even with our stringencies. But we're very good at that here,
yeah,
and I think it's because a lot of us here, and even the ability to have to go from thinking you want to work in corporate America, but now I want to leave corporate America and I want my own business.
Yeah.
There's so many programs that are better suited for us here. I
Yeah.
know my family, they're always going, how can I use your services, Crystal? Can you do some work? We don't, and then I'll go, well, we got the Urban League, we got this. They're like, oh, we don't have those things here because my services, the organizations pay me, so then I can provide coaching for anyone. Um, and even when I do workshops and classes, I've had people from Toronto that
Yeah.
actually came into the new Women's Business Center because there is no programs like that in their own
Yeah.
in their places of where they live and work.
Yeah.
And then the other caveat is how many corporate entities or employees leave corporate America and retire, and then they start their own consulting businesses in the area that they had their expertise. That
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that was a
amazing.
regular.
That is that again. Talk about that dynamism. It's like every single day there's opportunities everywhere. It's
Yeah.
amazing, and then it keeps growing. Like I think when I came to America and California, in particular, um, I think California was maybe 6, 7, in the world, like as far as the strongest economy.
Yeah.
Now
Hmm.
came like 5, 4.
Hmm.
It just tells you that dynamism it's really strong here. It
Oh
keeps
yeah.
growing. There's just like it reminds me of a hub like Silicon Valley. It's not just Silicon Valley, but like that
Yeah.
spirit of always doing something. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
just don't
I know
sit
exactly what you're saying.
always like something bugs you. Okay, let's open a company. Let's tackle the problem. And then, like it's like a Shark Tank thing. Oh, this
Right. Like
bugs
always.
me.
Like
You
let's
know,
just
it's
start this then.
exactly, it's constantly innovating, constantly thinking ahead. You talked about transcender, a trendsetter.
Settlers.
It's
Uh-huh.
exactly what it is. It's like, something is happening. I may not like it. Okay, what can I do about it? You just
Yeah.
don't complain,
Right.
right? You want to do
Right.
something about it.
Yeah.
Right.
You create new businesses. Now,
Yeah.
have you so you're international basically. So have you? So what is it the landscape say in France where you were, or in Africa? I know Nigeria and Ghana, especially Ghana, is growing to be a financial mecca. Of course, Dubai and all those areas. Do you do any work in those spaces or internationally?
No, and the reason why I have very few international clients because the loans that I provide are 10 years, 25 years, 5, 7 years. And when you're on a visa, right? Like
Mm,
most of them, like, E2 visa investor, it's only 5 years. The bank is not going to give you a loan for 10 years.
No.
Absolutely not.
okay.
Because your
No.
visa is so 90, I would say I have 5% of my clients are international, and they are either green card holder or US became US citizen, just like me. I became 2 years ago. I have a dual
Hmm.
citizenship now, France and America. So, but yeah, because of that, the fact that the loans that I do are mainly like traditional loans from banks,
Okay. Okay.
and they won't, entertain, foreign national much. A little bit, but you have to bring a lot of money for
Yeah.
them.
So I have a little different question for you, Valerie, which is outside of what you're talking about a little bit.
Mhm.
So you said your roots are in the Cameroons, right?
On my mom's side,
On your mom's
my
side.
dad, it's let's just say my mom is black from Cameroon, my dad is white from France.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me this. What is the entrepreneurship landscape like in the Cameroons? I mean, do you see a lot of entrepreneurs doing some of what we're doing here in order to get by and be successful? How do they handle what you do and what we do over there? I mean, do they have any help from the government? How does it work?
Gilbert, this would have been an amazing question if I was actually I have no idea. I'm sorry. I just don't
That's
like
okay.
I literally, I guess I became so focused on like that, I have a business, I have a couple employees, my family's in France, and
Yeah,
I have one sister in Texas. So it's basically between all that, I don't have a pulse on how Cameroon is handling the economic, the
that's
economy
okay
right now.
because remember I said earlier that California is a microcosm of the U.S., right?
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of how the U.S. behaves, California behaved that way. So there are people here from the Cameroon who are entrepreneurs. So
Hmm.
I just wondered if you connected with them, if you know anything about them, if they've
I have
approached you.
friends like that, maybe a couple of friends that, they're entrepreneur here, but we don't talk about this. I mean, at least in our conversation, it's friendship, right? Like we
Yeah.
chat about,
Right, exactly. So
things, whatever. Like, girls talk
and
about, where did you buy these shoes, girl? Like,
Well, I'd like to introduce you. I'd like to introduce you to a Cameroonian. Is that how you say it, Cameroonian?
Cameroonian, yes, absolutely.
I would like to introduce you to someone like that. She's a friend of ours.
Hmm.
Crystal knows her too. Her name is Theodora. Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Do you know Theodora?
I
Valerie? Do you know her?
don't know
No, you're
Theodora.
Yeah,
from Orange. You
you are
live in the
gonna
Orange
love
County
her.
area. You live in the Orange County area, don't you?
Oh, she's in the Orange County area?
I know, I'm,
Uh,
I'm in South Bay. I actually,
oh,
Oh, South Bay.
one at my office, I have the
So
reason why
you're close.
the center, it's so easy for me to go to LA and OC.
Well, yeah, she's in LA. So I'm gonna make an introduction because you guys need to know each other. She's in the construction trade, which is a male dominated
I love
space,
it. I love
but
it.
she's thriving. So I want to introduce you guys
Please,
because
thank you so much. That's amazing. A woman, like, this is also my case, right? Like male dominant industries, and
yeah,
then having and on top of that, she's Cameroonian. So
yeah, and on
oh, you
top
would
of
love
that,
Fedora.
yeah,
Fedora, she
and
does.
on, and on top of that too, you know the financial space. So you together working, we can help her business grow. You know,
absolutely.
And she does what she does is she finds she does the labor compliance, and she also finds the employees to
local
work,
worker
or
hiring, that
the
type of thing.
co-worker hiring for all of the big contracts. She's
Yeah,
done it for USC. She's done it for SoFi. She's done it,
Mhm.
I think, for
she's
Intuit,
done it for the forum.
for
Oh,
the
nice.
She's
forum.
done it for
So
Oh,
that's
that's
what
USC.
amazing.
it's
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
Metro.
absolutely. I love
Yeah,
it. This is great. That's
she
that's
is
just
amazing. She
yeah.
is
So
oh,
I'm gonna
absolutely
do an
amazing.
introduction because you two need to meet each other, especially your hometown country folks.
yeah, exactly. Absolutely. No, that's great. I thank you so much. I
Not a
definitely
Yeah,
problem.
we'd
So
love
that's
to introduce.
so that's kind of why I was asking you about that. If you stay connected with the entrepreneurship landscape with Cameroon,
Mhm.
because she's one of the amazing entrepreneurs. She doesn't really pat herself much on the shoulder. I have to keep patting her on her shoulder, breaking
That's
my hand off.
that's even better when your friends and partners actually highlight you, and then it
Yeah,
just speaks even more highly. Yeah, no, I when I have a chance, I go back home, which is Lyon.
yeah,
It's in France. My parents are there, my little
yeah,
brother, my sister. So I'm like there all the time. Like
yeah.
anytime I get a chance, I just fly back and then spend time with family. So I
Right.
have more a pulse on the landscape, like entrepreneurship in France, and to be like that's. I always tell my American friends, you're like, that's the reason why Foreign National, they're just so amazed with the easiness of entrepreneurship in America. In France, it takes you like a couple months to get a business license.
Yeah.
Here,
See.
you can go to the county clerk, you just pay your, what is it, $40 now, and you get
Well,
your
Uh-huh.
license.
in
It's
Los Angeles, you apply
exactly,
for it and get it the same
yeah,
day.
it's very regulated in France. I think also we have different type of platform as far as politics, right? It's not a free market yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to be, a little bit between socialists, but like going towards like capitalism. So it's not yet like as vivid,
Oh, okay.
like as in America, where entrepreneurship is just like a lot of people are still doing their 30 years at a company, they having their pension and having a retirement. That's kind of the mindset, and then
Yeah.
going about with their retirement. As if here, Crystal, she mentioned that earlier. Hey, I just retired, I'm 62, what can I do? Oh, I became a consultant. It's very much in the customs here. It's like it's second nature, as if
Yeah, it's
in
second
terms of
nature.
yeah,
Entrepreneurship is second, especially for Black
exactly.
people,
It's
because
coming to
you know,
France, but it's not as obviously.
It's not as obvious.
as
Yeah, here.
widespread as in America.
Oh wow. It is so funny because I have a friend. My best one of my best friends. She's from South Africa, and her husband has done a lot of business in South Africa, but he was a born entrepreneur. That's what he does. So, and he thinks really, really big. So right now, his company, or our company, because I work with them on some stuff, is going public. But his business partner is from Ghana, another place where entrepreneurship and
It's
innovation has
thriving.
really
Yeah.
taken off. And so they've been doing amazing things, creating EV systems. And I think we just got a contract with the city of Detroit to put in all the EV chargers
That's
in that city.
amazing.
Yeah, so that's going to be our entry into kicking off the public company when we go. Right now we're over the counter, but OTC marketplace, but we're ready to go to Nasdaq. So, but that's what they've been doing. So different countries, I think, have that spirit, and probably most of them have been educated here in this country. So again,
Mhm.
this country really,
Right.
encourages. Yes, work for somebody, but have your own thing on the
Oh, absolutely.
side.
It's a, like, it's a different dynamic, and it's just, it comes from the history and all these things. But, yeah, absolutely. That's entrepreneurship for sure. You want to be in America. Like you said, other countries, South Africa, it's huge. Like, a lot of Nigeria too. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of, like, I hear, I don't know for a fact, but like, when you talk about like other entrepreneurs, and then you just hear in general that these are the countries that are coming, they're very strong in entrepreneurship, and it's great. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's a conversation I've had with some of my friends that are from other countries, and is that especially for Black people, being able to do business with other Black people doesn't necessarily mean you just got to be in this country. You actually can be doing business worldwide now,
Oh yes,
and
absolutely.
Africa is a mecca for that in certain areas that
Oh my
have
gosh.
strong.
Africa, like, this is the fact, right? With all the wealth, unfortunately, the way, the governments are there, like, we shouldn't be, the economy status of Africa should be like number one in the world with all the raw materials and everything. And also the fact that, what, 70% of young of population in Africa is less than 25 years old. So this is the
Yes,
future.
You
This is
know,
the future. So
who else said what you're saying? Putin. Putin said that too. He said Africa is such a rich continent that they don't necessarily need to do business with the rest of the world because they got so many countries right there. I think 54 countries that come together,
mhm.
and they should be able, if they intertrade among themselves, they can do so well because Nigeria alone has over 100 million people, right?
I believe it almost 200. I
See? So
Yeah.
that
So
alone right there, I mean, think about it. The United States has 330 going on to 350 million people. Just the United States, right? If
mhm.
Nigeria has 200 million, can you imagine Ghana, South Africa, Cameroon, all of those other nations, man, when they come together, woo.
But the system, the politics, like, there's a lot of dictatorship, right? Like, they don't,
Yeah,
yeah,
like, the way the politics, if it was, again, that's the biggest hurdle.
yeah.
If you had people that were committed to advance the
Hmm.
cause of Africa, not putting, not putting money on the side for their own
Yeah,
personal,
right, right, exactly.
benefit, Africa will be just far gone
thriving.
by today. But the whether the presidents that are, nominated, actually they take over the power, they don't want to let go.
Yeah.
It's so sad. It destroys, so many things, so
Right.
many opportunities that Africa can
And
have.
the infrastructure being able, they don't have the sustainable infrastructure like
Yeah,
we
that's
have
true
here
too.
in this
Well,
country.
because all that money that they could have used, it's going to personal pockets
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
people at the
Right.
top.
corruption,
Yeah,
the corruptive pockets.
Exactly, exactly.
absolutely corrupted.
So,
Yeah.
Valerie, do you have any questions for us here on this business zone?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I mean, I love, what is the mission of
I'm
The,
glad.
business
I'm glad you
owning?
asked. I'm glad you asked. Did you look in the chat right there? I mean, did you see
It
that?
was where?
It says,
Oh, I didn't
the,
even
"Welcome
say.
to the Business Zone, the number one podcast in Southern California that helps
Oh yeah,
small and
here.
micro businesses become business ready,
Mhm.
contract ready, and funding ready."
I love
So,
it. I
so
love that mission statement.
yeah, so my co-host and I, we provide these types of services through coaching, through advice that we give, through consulting, and we also do classes. We do class and session on the air. So we'll do a live session. Like if you weren't here today, we would be doing a class and session for the hour and a half that we run this show. And it could be covering any topic like leadership, management, certification, how to become business ready, how to become contract ready, how to become loan ready. It would also cover perhaps exit strategy, or how can we get women more involved in the procurement process. All of those things are things that we do. So that's the mission right there.
Amazing.
yeah,
I just read
year-end
it. It's
planning.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so both of our backgrounds, as you said in the early part of the show, we have over 30 years apiece in coaching and training and working with small businesses. I also run a nonprofit that our focus is on maintaining and keeping our dollars in our community and recycling those dollars to benefit us in the community.
Mhm.
So it kind of ties into what I do, which is why I do what I do. Because when I was asked to direct that program, everybody was like, okay, well, it's a no brainer. Why are we not supporting each other's businesses, black businesses, right? But one of the reasons is that the structures weren't there. People didn't have the knowledge. They had a skill set or a passion for being the barbecue guru of the city, but running the business
Yeah,
was different, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Or you make the best cakes and pies, so I'm gonna be
yeah.
a baker and I'm gonna that's my business, but I don't know how to run the business, nonprofits, everything. So that's kind of my area. And I also focus on children. I teach kids how to be entrepreneurs, how
Amazing.
to
I love
start
that.
businesses. So I do
Mm.
that every summer. I've been doing that for the program's been around for 17 years. I've been doing it for 13 years.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Yeah. Financial
teaching
literacy, I think it should start like at kindergarten. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
love it.
kindergarten, exactly. Maybe even younger than that. When they
Yeah.
first recognize that there's money and there's an ATM and money comes out of that machine.
How to save, how to invest. Absolutely. How to save, how to invest, all these things. I mean, it will just, yeah,
Investment clubs for kids, all of that.
yeah.
So that's
And
kind of
Amazing.
what we do.
and
And we,
Crystal has a real knack with helping those young kids excel, because she's taken them to competitions. We're talking national competitions. She's
Wow.
taken them there and they won. They came first, second, and third
That's
out of
amazing.
out of 600 of the
Wow.
participants. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
She is
Absolutely.
just
It's just like,
amazing, man.
oh my gosh, that's great. Hey, I definitely want to get together in person. Come on, we're in LA,
Oh,
right?
for
Like
sure.
we
For
need to get
sure. Let's
together in
do that.
person and chat more.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
because I want to see how we can get our assessment tool involved with what you do with some of these participants, because that will help you much better and faster. Because if someone say, "Hey, I need a loan, a line of credit, or whatever," before you talk to them, you send them our way. We run them through that assessment tool, which will have a result. That result is sent back to you. You look at it, okay, they didn't score 100%, but what did they score? Well, they score 80%. Well, they're closer. They're closer to the 100. So maybe we don't have to do that much work with them.
mm,
Maybe it's only two or three items they needed to expand on and kind of fix, pay attention to. Like some of them probably doesn't have a Dun and Bradstreet number. So they don't know their business credit score, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they operate on their FICO score, and that's no good to lenders like yourself. I mean, yeah, you may look at it, but that's not what you want to see. You want to see the business credit.
yeah. I mean, there's all components, right? Like, again, the fact that matter, we have maybe not as elaborate as your system, but something similar where we
Yeah.
can identify right away the type of
Oh,
product they're looking for. We need it all. Like the banks, they need it all. Whether it's your personal guarantee, it's a must, right? Like
yeah.
most banks, 99%, unless the non-recourse makes sense, but 99% of the banks, they will use your FICO score, personal
Oh,
FICO
yeah.
score, because they need you
Oh,
to
yeah.
guarantee. But again, Dun and Bradstreet, you're absolutely right. This is
Yeah.
something you need to know. I mean, there's so much going into underwriting and taking a loan, that having those things put together, and that's what we do, like right away. It's fast, and then we're able to put all those components together to make sense
Yeah.
of the type of loan they qualify for. But
Right.
yeah, no, the all everything is important, right? Like you want to make sure that you're set, and even if you're not yet, there are
Yeah.
ways to be where you need to
Mm-hmm.
be, you know.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, it's been awesome. We definitely have to get together. I have
Oh,
to
we
thank
gotta
Absolutely.
get her back.
I
I have to thank Javon for referring you over to us. With Javon
Absolutely.
and I, hey Greg,
Yay!
uh,
Our field correspondents just checking in.
um, yeah, Javon and I do a podcast on Mondays on retirement.
Okay.
So I've been doing that with him for about 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years, I think. And
Yeah.
the Business Zone's been on the air for 8 years.
He
Hmm.
said it's freezing outside.
No, it's great. Javon is such a great person. I mean,
He
it's
is.
such a pleasure. You meet this, we everybody knows tons of business partners. Like we see each other. We actually saw each other again yesterday at a gathering. But he's genuinely the type of person who wants to help, and
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and that comes out so authentic.
It's natural,
We're in
right?
LA, there's so much people,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
LA.
Right.
Come on,
Exactly.
sometimes
Yeah.
somebody says something and they don't really mean it. He's totally different. Maybe because he's from Alaska,
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a different.
He's a
He's
different
very.
breed. He's a
Yeah. He's a
different
different
breed.
breed.
So, but no, this he's such a great person. So I'm not surprised whenever he sees an opportunity to connect people, like-minded professional, or even like on a personal level, he will make that introduction. So same here. I'm grateful for him for introducing us.
That's great.
Yeah, so let's see what we can maybe we're kind of you and I are in LA. Gilbert is in Alhambra, but we'll get him over here on this side of
Oh
town when
yeah,
he's
I go
over
to
here. Maybe we'll grab a
oh,
drink.
it's absolutely. I was actually had one of my the bank one bank's banker VP. We had lunch in downtown LA. His Alhambra came down to downtown LA. I was in downtown LA and we had lunch there. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're coming from another city. So we can make it happen. Come on now.
Well,
Okay.
well,
All right.
well, Crystal, you know where I like to go. I like my Jamaican food, so
Woo! I would
we
love to
can
take.
take her
I
to the
had
Jamaican
I had
spot.
some chicken. Was it chicken jerky? Like with a
Jerk
spice?
chicken.
Jerk
Yeah.
chicken.
So we let Gilbert pick the restaurant.
There you
Then
go.
Okay.
then then
See,
then as a
she,
French snob, I'm gonna criticize the food.
she's winning my heart slowly but surely.
So Greg, Gilbert
I'm
is
just
now called Jabert.
Gilbert.
Gilbert,
That's my name, Greg Gilbert. Okay.
Gilbert.
He said he detects a little Caribbean in your voice. You want to tell him what your accent is?
What was that? Sorry.
Oh,
He said he detects a little Caribbean in your voice. So
Oh, I
you
he's a
mean,
want
it,
to
little
tell
it is
further
what
than the Caribbean.
yeah yeah, it is whatever people think French and Cameroon. So it's not Caribbean. I don't know. Maybe my ancestry. We all come from everywhere, right? Like who
You're right,
knows? Maybe
exactly.
like but
so Greg, it's French. It's French that you're hearing. You're hearing that Frenchy, okay?
not the
That's
thick,
why he's
not the restaurant hospitality thick French accent, but the
Yeah.
make
the deal.
not not Monsieur Gilbert.
Ooh, see, that's what I'm talking about. She's winning me over, man. She is winning me over. I'm gonna have to call you so you can talk like that to me.
Call him Gilbert.
Yeah.
That'll get him to lunch.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. We have
definitely.
to have lunch. We have to have lunch soon because I
Yeah,
would
or
love to have
to
that,
his favorite Jamaican
Jamaican,
restaurant.
yeah, restaurant. Absolutely. We love that.
Yeah, but it's been great. We're not gonna hold you. We can be here forever because I love your accent and your
Thank
energy.
you.
And
Same here.
but we're gonna
Same.
continue on, and we're gonna meet in person, and let's see how we can help each other
Absolutely.
and benefit each other.
Definitely. Pleasure,
As I
pleasure
said,
to have you, Valerie.
Gilbert and I
Thank you.
both work with a lot of clients that, especially him, because of the certification contract that could benefit the services. Or at least having a conversation that it sounds like you help them prepare to be ready for lending, in addition to actually securing the capital that they may need.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Diamant Carré Capital Group, is that yours, your own, or?
Yes, indeed. It's my own small boutique. I like it I keep things simple. So it's me. I started it again when I left Wells Fargo, and
How long
with few
ago? How
with few
long ago?
employees, and that's it. That's me and my couple few
How long
employees.
ago did you start it? How long ago?
2017. So that's what, end of 7 8 years,
It's
around
7,
seven.
8 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
seven.
I'm gonna ask you the question I ask all my clients: Are you woman-owned certified?
That is a great point. Not yet.
Well, we're gonna have
Maybe
to
you
get you
can.
certified.
Yes,
See now
absolutely.
we're building transactional points here.
I am
So,
looking for. There's so many things, Monsieur Gilbert, we have in common. You have no idea. We're uncovering. I'm sure there's going to be dozens and dozens of things like we have in
oh,
common. But
sure,
yeah,
sure. I'll
and
take you to Jamaica, and you take me to. No, I'll take it to the certification, and you take me to the Jamaican restaurant. How about that?
Right, exactly. No, I think so. And I would love to introduce you to, I do consulting for the Los Angeles Urban League, and they have a lot of cohorts and programs that they've been working on, that we've been working on. So I'm always looking for that arm to direct our clients to when they're
Yeah,
ready for funding. So I'd like to make
absolutely,
that introduction. And Vermont Slauson Economic, they work with a number of organizations, but they're a CDFI. So I don't know if there's some synergy there for you. But
could
they
be,
got some,
could
could
yeah.
be.
be,
Let's talk. Let's talk more over lunch, and
Yeah,
actually
right.
have a phone call
yeah,
I have to get to. But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is just literally the beginning of hopefully
yeah.
such a fruitful, partnership. Absolutely. What a pleasure. So much fun. I mean, you
Yes.
Definitely.
two are such pleasant, top professional, and fun, and professional. What else can you ask for? I mean, this is
That
perfect.
the only other thing you can ask for is a plate of Jamaican jerk chicken.
Okay, yes, got it.
That's the only other thing you can ask for.
Well, you have a
All right.
wonderful evening. Thank you for spending the afternoon with us. We so appreciate it. And we're looking forward to when we sit down and break bread together.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Have a great weekend, you two, and then we'll talk soon.
for
Okay.
sure.
Bye
Thank
bye.
Okay,
you.
bye.
Pleasure, pleasure.
All righty, Gilbert.
All right. I love that's my new name now. So if you come on the air next week and you don't call me Gilbert, then I'm going home.
Oh,
I'm taking my
Monsieur,
marbles and go home.
Monsieur Gilbert.
Yes, Gilbert. Hey, Greg, you hear that? You better call me Gilbert, or we're gonna have problems.
He has a new name and he wants to utilize it. So you tell them that's who you are now. He said Joe Bear.
He said, "Sure."
He's gonna call you Joe Bear.
I know it's Joe Bear. No, it's Gilbert. Gilbert.
It like, get that French
Yeah, get that
accent
little
onto the
Frenchie in
front
there.
of the Gilbert. Greg,
Well,
you should
folks,
have seen him when she called him that. He was just melting over there.
I was just melting, man. I just love that French accent, man. Gilbert. She can talk to me like that anytime.
It
Oh
was a
man,
great show though. That was great. Now that's the
definitely.
way bankers. That's what the relationship should be when a
Yeah,
person is seeking funding. It should be where you first find out who I am,
yeah,
what I do,
yeah,
why I do it, the story behind it, and then
yeah,
let us see what products that are available
yeah,
for me. and not just here, fill out the application and then no questions, no whatever, but building a relationship. And when I talk to my clients about building a relationship
Yeah.
before you need the money, that's what
Mhm.
it sounds like they do. Building,
Right.
then she can take all your money. uh, but that's so important because as she said in the very beginning,
Yeah.
people go and they fill out an application and they get denied, and then
Yeah.
after that, that's the end of it. They're no longer going back looking for fund for any
Right.
capital, and then they just remain small.
Right.
Um, yeah, they just take my money and run to Venezuela. Then they remain small. But if you had that kind of boutique lending entity
Yeah.
that could really walk you through that.
And I think it's a good alternative for us to have because we've been looking at the big banks, the community banks and all that. It's nice to check out a little boutique type lending entity, see how different they are because they're gonna give you more personalization, in learning about your business, funding your business, that type of thing. So I like this approach with her. So let's do that. Let's try to nurture that and see where it can go. Because, like you say, co-host, we got a lot of small businesses that can benefit from her services, and just the fact that we know them and we know her, then I know that she's going to, you know, have more believability in them than if they were to approach her directly. What is
Right,
he saying?
exactly.
What
He
is he
says what
saying?
happens when you don't default. The same thing happens if you don't default with anybody else. Yeah, they do send Bubba after you.
Zimbabwe.
He's so funny.
I was. Oh, I want to do a shout out, co-host, and
Okay.
I told my bank manager that I was gonna do that. I want to do a shout out to my bank manager over at Westcom Credit Union in Pasadena. This man is phenomenal. I think I told you about my car. I sold my car 2 days ago.
Oh, you did. You told me you were going to sell, but you actually sold it. You
I
weren't
sold it.
playing, were you?
I sold it. I wasn't playing at all, man. I sold. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate you. So I sold it, and now I don't have a car. So I went into the bank. The deal was too good. I couldn't give it up, man. You know this
Okay.
this um this outfit from Texas. They decided to offer me, what I wanted. The car dealership was saying 12,000, twelve
Mhm.
thousand 800. I said, no, I don't want that. I want at least 15,000. So
Okay.
they decided to give. They say, oh, no questions asked. Here you go. Wire the money.
Okay.
They wired the money in my account. Oh, it was beautiful.
So, what kind of car are you planning on getting?
I'm gonna get an upscale version of the one I had, but it's gonna be
Okay.
better. It's gonna be a
Okay.
2023. You know,
Okay.
has about 20,000 miles or less on it.
You already found it?
Oh yeah, I already found it, Carvana. I'm going
Okay. Okay, Carvana.
Carvana. Because I've seen them, but I didn't know much about them. So I did some research. As a matter of fact, my bank manager suggested, why don't you try Carvana? Because they have like this vending machine situation set up with the
You
cars,
see
right?
that? You see it on the
On the
freeway, the one
freeway,
on. Oh
right?
yeah, on the 110.
Exactly. So they have all these vehicles, man, and when you go to the car dealership to buy a car, it will take you like 8 hours. The last time it took me 8 hours, right? This
Mhm.
one, what's one? 15 minutes.
Oh
15 minutes.
whoa.
15 minutes. 15 minutes, man.
So it
So
didn't none of that go in the back room
yeah,
and
none of
bring
that
in
back.
the finance
Yeah.
manager and
Oh,
the
I gotta go
whatever
talk to
manager.
yeah, I gotta go talk to my manager and see if it's okay. No, none of that. Whatever price you see, that's the price it is. You don't haggle or anything. That's the price, man.
Okay.
So I like that, and So then my manager said, all right, let's run the loan and all of that stuff, man. So he did we did the because since we do what we do, you and I, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know what the banks are looking for.
You're
So
right.
I went in there prepared. I had my tax returns. I did my little P&L, right?
Uh-huh.
And the P&L had income, the revenues, and projected and everything. So it shows what I'm going to be making by the end of this year.
Oh, okay.
Which not too many people do.
Right.
Because it shows what my revenues are up until year to date, until this month, right?
Right. So,
But then it also
you got
shows,
contracts.
yeah, exactly. So it also shows what's on the contract to be generated by the end of the year. Then you compare that with last year's revenue so they can see, hey, this guy's growing. He's making more money this year than last year.
Right.
So I took all of that in there, man, and the bank manager said, man, you're a different kind of customer because I don't see this every day. My customers, they didn't come in here all prepared like this. But if I'm teaching small businesses, then I got to teach myself too.
You gotta practice what you preach.
Exactly, man. So it's good. The loan was approved. And I'm ready, while I'm sitting there, they approved the loan.
Well, congratulations. You be moving. You said that 2 days ago, and look at you.
I'm telling you, man, I don't blame it. And so when I sold the car, I had to drive it up to Burbank to this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I handed over to them the key and everything. They put the money in my account right there because I said, hey, I'm not giving you guys no damn keys until I see that this money's in my account.
Okay, all righty then.
So while I'm sitting there, the transaction was going through. I said, okay, I want to see a transaction number. I want to see an approval, a confirmation number and all of that. All of that was good, man. So I said, okay, I call my bank. I say, hey, bank manager, look at my account and tell me if the money is there. I don't trust these types of things, these transactional stuff. Because they can fabricate an email and say, oh, it said it's there. And then I check my account, there's nothing. So yeah, so it was good, man. It was a great transaction, man.
Good, because usually buying a car unless you're paying cash for it is not an easy experience, man. It's usually
man.
Stressful as all heck, especially if you need if you need funding, if you need loans and stuff. Even amazing enough, the last car that I did buy that I actually bought with a loan, that I actually had a loan on it, car payment at the back end of it was I had my own funding from a credit union. Check was already there. All I had to do was make it happen. Nevertheless, it still took 4 to 5 hours. Like, I don't even understand. In fact, when I was taking care of my mom at that time, right? So I couldn't really do a whole lot of car shopping. And so a friend of mine, he was out looking. That's one of the things he did. And so I had told him what kind of car I wanted. And he was out at the Lexus dealer, and he calls me. It was on Thanksgiving. He calls me and he says, Crystal, I found your car. I said, you have? He said, yeah, I know you don't have time to go look for it. So at that time, I wanted a Sebring. I wanted a convertible Sebring. I wanted it light blue. I wanted to have navy blue interior. That was what I was looking for, right?
That's what you wanted.
That's what I wanted. And he calls me. He goes, I see your car here at the Lexus lot in Cerritos. You need to come. I was like, I can't come right now. So a couple of days later, I went and I was like, awesome. This is the car. It literally only had like 12,000 miles on it. It was maybe a year old or 2 years old or whatever. It was a lease return, 2 years. So it was a lease return. And I told them, I said, okay, I have to go to my credit union and I'm going to, well, you can do it. Nope. I already talked to my credit union. They can make it happen. So we came to get, and he's like, well, if what he says to me, well, if you don't do that, if you leave, it may not be here. I said,
Yeah,
We're
he's trying a little pressure thing now. The
right.
pressure sale.
We're at a Lexus dealer. Who the heck is purposely coming to a Lexus dealer to pick
Buy
up
a Sebring.
a Sebring? A Chrysler? No, that ain't gonna happen. If they come into the Lexus dealer, they coming to buy a Lexus.
Alexis,
And so
exactly.
this person who had sold the car to them or traded the car in, they had upgraded to a Lexus. Well, I'm not
Yeah,
coming here to buy a Lexus. I'm coming to get that, and I am sure it'll still be sitting here when I come back. And so
exactly.
I came back, and a week later had everything secured with the credit
Yeah.
union. Still took us 4 hours to close the deal.
Really?
I don't even understand. I had a check and everything. Don't even understand what the process was.
Oh
So
man.
we left, and that was my mom had always gone with me in every car that I've ever bought, and
Yeah.
so when I bought that car, she came with me with her walker and everything. We put it in the back of the Sebring, and I had a friend bring me out there, and I drove the car off the lot. She was sitting in the front seat with the top down because it was warm enough to do
she
that.
was living the dream.
Right, and she always had been my negotiator, but for that, but she was able to get out. So that was the last time my mom was with me to buy a car. So
That's
it
great,
was
man.
very
That is great.
yeah, that was so that was a good deal. And
But it sounded like everything about that was good except the 4 hours that you had to spend.
Except for the 4 hours, man. Except for the 4 hours. Last car I bought cash, so no issues.
Yeah, in my
we had to spend 4 hours.
Yeah, in my case, man, it wasn't, because I thought it was gonna take long and all that. Ugh,
yeah, you really dread it. You want a new car, but you dread it. So
exactly, so it was great. I tell the bank manager, I said, man, I feel like a hot chick, because all these dealerships are calling me up, proposing to me, hey. Here's the car. I got this car for you. It's got low miles. The price is this, and I get to pick and choose. I'm going, not you. Not gonna date you. You don't make enough money.
Yeah,
you're not tall enough.
you took my car shopping to a whole nother level.
A whole nother level.
Well, Gilbert, I'm gonna get ready so I can go to water aerobics because I definitely need to go into that very cold pool right now.
Yeah.
But it's been a great show. She was awesome. I love that. Gilbert, we will see each other next week. You'll come back down. I'll be your French high.
Who said that?
So, Greg, if you're still here, see you later, and we'll see you all next week.
Greg said that.
No, he said good show. Happy. No, I said that. You're French high.
Okay.
Join us next week, guys. For a great show as usual. We're not sure who's going to be on the show next week, or if it's going to be a class session, but we will definitely have our literature out soon. But we would like to ask you to go over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. You can use the QR code there. It will take you directly there. But if you're driving and you get to a place, then do the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. Hit the subscribe button. We are trying our goal is to reach by the end of this month, or maybe the beginning of the end of October, 1,000 subscribers. We're about 300 off. So go on over there, hit that subscribe button. And with that, Gilbert, you ready to take us out?
We are ready. So, folks, we'll see you next week. You have a great weekend. Co-host, you have a great weekend.
As a small biz pro, that's how we roll. Using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, that's how we grow. Using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.